Morning glory, evening grace, brother and sister, and welcome back to Temperance Awakening and our vaping lecture. Going to be looking at our 32nd vaping lecture here today, and day 25 of our quit, so starting to wind down, only 3 days left after today. And today a really good lecture looking at love yourself. Love yourself. The greatest power that we have creating change is making people feel loved. Yet we use this tool the least, it seems like most people. Like psychiatrist Carl Menninger, said love cures people, both the ones who give it and the ones who receive it. Love enhances self-esteem and self-worth by helping others see and know their strengths. Love focuses on what's present rather than what's missing. Love offers more joy than material possessions. Love is how much we give of ourselves, how much we share with others, and ultimately, how we measure our lives. Nothing else breathes life into us like love. Which explains why a lot of people who don't have love in their lives experience more anxiety, they drink more alcohol, they abuse more nicotine and drugs, eat junk food, and they engage in self-harming behaviors. And of course, that's been proven, especially a lot of, kids who come from broken homes that have parents that don't really care a lot about them, kids that are abused, they're much more prone, to abuse drugs, nicotine, have anxiety, and abuse alcohol, etc. And see, one of the biggest changes that you need to make for your quit to work is increasing the love that you have for yourself. There's a Bible verse that says, love thy neighbor as thyself. And of course, we look at the first part of that, love your neighbor. And, yes, that's very true, like we just said. Even secular, psychologists, secular psychiatrists have proven that, showing other people love, serving other people can really help yourself. But also, look at the second part, though, of that Bible verse. Look, love thy neighbor as what? As thyself. Because the Bible shows, that it's a given that, you are to love. That you're to love yourself. Do things for yourself. Do what's sometimes, maybe not all the time, though you have to do what is best, for you. Like I said, sometimes, we are to put other people before ourselves, but we also have to take time for our own selves. And see, a lack of self-love can lead to mindless, unhealthy behaviors that trigger addiction and dependency, and that's something, that's also proven. Most people that, abuse tobacco, that vape, that abuse alcohol and drugs, etc. They're people that have a very low self-esteem, that think very low of their self. A lot of how we view ourselves derives from how we feel about our bodies, our physical bodies. And it's easy to compare ourselves to people on, to popular, celebrity-type people in movies, on television, and, in magazines and so forth. But remember, though, for each one of those individuals, a huge team of artists and technicians, like personal trainers, hairstylists, makeup artists, wardrobe supervisors, lighting designers, digital retouchers, etc., was turning genetically gifted and incredibly hardworking people into, a superhuman look that we see on screen, stage, and page, which, as we said, isn't real. So push those, images aside of, whatever celebrity or, whomever, and consider these truths here. No one else can do things exactly how you do them. No one else knows everything that you do. You are unique in this world. We are all unique people. There's only one of you, only one of me. Like I often, say in my ministry, in preaching, everybody has their own path in life. No two people are exactly the same. There are no two Bible characters, that are exactly the same. We really see the opposite of that. Even in the Bible, people that the Lord used, they were very unique individuals, and, they had their own path in life. They come from different backgrounds, they had different gifts, different talents. And learning to love yourself whole again won't happen in a day. For, some people, just being honest, like our textbook says, for some people that takes a lifetime. Some people that takes a few years, like I just said about myself. I surrendered to the ministry when I was very young, when I was only 15 years old. And it took me a good few years, really until I was in my 20s before I saw, hey, I can't be like this preacher or that preacher, I have to be myself. So let's look at some things here that can help us, love our own self and just look at us for who we are. Number one, forgive yourself. Now, it's good to be hard on yourself, to have high expectations, but, there are times when we have to go easy on ourselves. Nobody has led a completely blameless or entirely triumphant life other than Jesus Christ, who is our Savior, who was God. Nobody, not even the best of Bible characters. So stop beating yourself up for what you've done in the past, or, what you haven't done, what you haven't accomplished. You can't be happy or free if you continue to blame yourself for events in the past or something that you still haven't accomplished. And then secondly, celebrate wins. The flip side of forgiving yourself is celebrating accomplishments, both big and small. Think about all the successes that you have, showing up, just doing this program, graduating from school, buying an apartment or a house, paying off a credit card or a loan, starting a business, cleaning out the garage, learning how to play an instrument, learning another language, getting married, becoming a parent, beating a personal fitness record, losing weight or maybe gaining weight if you were anorexic at some time. And then our third one here, the mirror. Look in the mirror. Stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eye, and say, I love you, I really love you. It might feel silly, but, probably the visualization exercises that you've been doing kinda sounded silly when you first started doing them. But as you stand there, think about how you demonstrate your love to your spouse, or to your boyfriend or girlfriend, or your child, your parent, a good friend. Imagine loving yourself in the same way. And then fourthly here, personal promotion. Personal promo for short, personal promotion. What are your talents and gifts? We all have them. What do you do better than most people? You might not be the best in the world, might not even be the best in the country, but you're great at something, and you need to remember that. If you're not sure about something, ask a loved one for some suggestions. I'm sure a relative, a spouse, a friend, or somebody going to give you some suggestions. Because, sometimes other people can see us, better than we see ourselves. And then lastly, have a feel-good file. Just literally start this. We're going to look at this in our assignments, but start a feel-good file. Whenever you receive, praise or encouragement from somebody, like a letter, an email, a text, or, just, verbally when you're with somebody, something that encourages you and makes you feel good about yourself, save it in a feel-good file that you're going to keep in a special place. When you're feeling low, look through that file. It'll lift your spirits. Practicing even just one of these, simple solutions daily can help you love yourself more. And over time, you'll see big changes in your attitude, in your behavior, and in your happiness. And I'm going to do our team talk here to our parents, the power of love. Being a teenager these days can feel harder than it ever did before. Even back when I was a teenager, like back in the, early 2000s, that was pretty challenging. But today, people have authority figures, their peers, just the media urging them to achieve more, be better, and look better. And, kids today can, even feel more pressure from social media platforms. Like not racking up the same number of followers or likes as their friends or classmates, feeling excluded whenever they see classmates and friends having fun without them. All of these things can cause teenagers to suffer from a lack of self-love. Lots of teenagers just don't love their self, and they have a very low self-esteem. And you can help your kids recognize their worth, reclaim their self-love, and pursue a healthy and happy, positive future. And try these activities here with your teen to encourage them, to do it on their own. Just have your teenagers here fill in these blanks. My teachers say I'm really good at blank. My friends like to hang out with me because blank. 3 qualities that I like about myself are blank. That I'm really proud of blank. It's not easy to up a teen's self-love game, but you can encourage and celebrate abilities, skills, and talent so that they feel more inspired, more confident, and more capable now and for the rest of their life, feeling more inspired, confident, and capable. And so now with our assignments, and we've got I think a fairly long exercise today for day number 25. But our other things, of course, some like continue with a hand-to-mouth therapy and medical nicotine as much as necessary. And so now we're going to go over to the activities for today. And that's on page 192 if you have the textbook. Then especially, of course, if you don't, then get ready to write. Like I said, we do have a few things here to write down. And the first thing looking at here is forgiveness. So write down forgiveness. And you can go back and use days 6 and 12 as guides. Using day 6 and day 12 as guides, you might have that being our quit days. You can go back at the lectures, and look at those if you don't have the textbooks. But using day 6 and day 12 as guides, determine what you might forgive yourself for. How would you have done things differently if you had had the skills or insight that you have now? What did you learn in the process? Why are you grateful for that experience? And how will you forgive yourself now? And then you can write, I forgive myself for, whatever. Just right there from your heart. Like I said, I got a few things here, so I encourage you to, just pause the video. Great thing about technology that we have today, you can just pause as needed to write down some things here so you don't miss anything. And now, secondly, look at your wins. Your wins. List 5 meaningful personal successes. And you can use the list that we gave, like with this lecture, like graduating school, buying a house, paying off loans, starting a business, etc. You can use that list, maybe as a starting point if you have some trouble, but think of some on your own, though. Think of things, you know yourself better than anybody, most likely, and so, write down, your personal successes. Then how did you achieve each win or success? What skills or talents did you apply to make each one happen? And so write a few sentences there from your heart, or that can be several sentences. It's your assignment, your success. And so write those things down. And then next you're looking at talents and skills. Talents and skills. And list at least 3 skills or gifts that you have. Give a couple of recent positive examples of how you use them in your life. And, you can ask your quit team, to help you with that one. Like a spouse, a boyfriend, girlfriend, a good friend, parents, whomever that you might need to help you with it. And now, like looking at the feel-good file that we mentioned, our feel-good file. So get a folder, that can be a file type folder, that can be like, something more like a paper folder, that could be like a binder, or something along the lines of that, whatever you have, whatever, you're comfortable with. But write, like on the tab, if it's a file folder, or, if it's something else, just write there on the front of it, that it is my feel-good file. And then print or add any, like a social media post, letters, emails, or text of encouragement, or that you receive, or like I said, I can just, be verbally when somebody's with you, giving you a pat on the back, commending you for something. And I encourage you, though, to include the person's name, the date of the message on the note, or, like whatever they said to you verbally. So include their name and the date, of the message. And, keep the folder in a good place, where you know where it is, and pull it out when you need to remind yourself, of how great you are. And so that's our lecture for today. And actually tomorrow, on day 26, going to be looking at a little something that we looked at before, going to be looking at prayer. I say prayer, but going to kind of be just looking at connecting with God. We're going to mostly, look a lot about prayer, then also, look at, like studying the Bible and, using good devotional books, etc. And so come on back and be with us as we start to wind down these vaping lectures. As I said, congratulate yourself, for almost completing the program. And so we'll see you tomorrow on day 26 of our quit with a 33rd lecture. And until then, everybody kind of shallows flee away. I'm Dr. Coop, and I love you, and I appreciate you.